no sound. That's something that nobody can imagine in today's society. We've all come so far since that point with all the movies and shows, 3D movies, all the surround sound we have now. But it all had to start somewhere. We've all seen a Disney movie at one point or another. We've all grown to love cartoons, and if we haven't visited them, we certainly have heard about the world-famous Disney World and Disneyland. If you have not heard of those places, we all here have definitely heard of the character Mickey Mouse. The first sound cartoon, the first motion cartoon, and the first animated feature-length motion picture were all created by Walt Disney. According to Bosley Crowther, who wrote an article on the biography of Walt Disney in 2010, his achievement as a creator of entertainment for an almost unlimited public and as a highly ingenious merchandiser of his wares can rightly be compared to the most successful industrialists in history. Walt Disney began his business. I'm gonna tell you about how Walt Disney began his business, the creation of the character Mickey Mouse, all the Disney movies and theme parks he created, as well as how he has become one of the most influential people in today's society. Walt Disney was born right here in Chicago, Illinois. Throughout his early years, he loved to draw animals and nature, and he continued to take classes and learn about or become better at drawing. Later, he grew to love animation. In his early 20s, he made his first short film, which was called the Alice Comedies. He was hoping that that would become big, so he moved to Hollywood with that dream to show everyone that little film that he made. But sadly, it was not successful. It wasn't until he created the well-known character of Oswald that he started to see bigger things for himself. The Rabbit was a hit, but the company took the rights for this character, so Walt was left to create a new character. Him and his teammates worked for like the whole night. They were going over different aspects of a character that they can make. They made the ears of Oswald shorter and were trying to figure out what else to do to make it appealing to people. So they came up with Mickey Mouse. The first animated movie featuring synchronized music was called Steamboat Willie, and this was the first movie that Mickey Mouse appeared in. According to Time magazine, in an article from 2008, Mickey Mouse's cheerful face remains one of the most recognizable images in the world, even beating out Santa Claus. Walt Disney loved to create films, so he continued to, as Mickey Mouse became a huge hit, he continued to make films to make more money and stuff like that. The first film that he created, the first feature-length film, was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And that was the first full-length animated feature in motion picture history. He took the money he created from that movie and made a studio for film and animation so that he was able to create even more movies. And according to the Walt Disney Company, the studio had revolutionized animation forever, from the rubber horse animation of Steamboat Willie to the extraordinary imagery and emotional storytelling of the company's first 5 feature-length films. Those films included Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi. Walt continued to think about all different aspects of entertainment, not only movies or characters like Mickey Mouse. He started to think about amusement parks. For years, he had a dream to create an amusement park that was clean and entertaining for parents to take their kids to enjoy. The current amusement parks at the time were really run down and dirty, and all teenagers would hang out there, and it wasn't really a good place for little kids and their families. According to an overview of Disneyland history by Betsy Malloy, Walt felt that it was possible to build a different kind of park, a themed park, that had fun attractions and beautiful atmosphere. A park that wouldn't decline into an ugly, gaudy, cheap place. Disneyland was created actually in a year before it was opening, just a short year. The whole Disneyland park was created. in California. Walt Disney planned every section of the park precisely as he dreamt it. At the front of the park was a section called Main Street, and that was where Walt recreated the turn of the century Main Street so that he could relive it. The next section was Adventureland, which Walt said was made to create a land that would make this dream a reality. We pictured ourselves far from civilization in the remote jungles of Asia and Africa, so it was kind of like stuff like that. The next section that he created was Frontierland, which was created so that people could relive the pioneer days of American history. The next area was Fantasyland, which was created for children to be able to dream and believe in the magical aspects of life. And lastly, there was Tomorrowland, which was all based on the future. So this obviously was a huge hit because no one ever had a theme park to take their whole family and their children. That was a nice place to go, and he tried to keep it clean all the time, so it was something new. It grew hugely. Most people have heard of it to this day. But sadly, Walt Disney passed away on December 15th, 1966, before you can see what his park grew to today. But in appreciation and memory of Walt Disney and the whole Disney organization, Disney World was created a few years after in Florida. As Walt Disney once said, Disneyland will never be completed. It will continue to grow as long as there is imagination left in the world. Not only that, but his creation of animated characters and his nonstop pursuit of his goals and dreams created a wide range of family entertainment, from the first feature-length motion picture to the lovable characters and the world-known theme parks. Through his parks, characters, and movies, Walt Disney has brought happiness and a universal communication through entertainment, as well as bringing families together, teaching us about America's history and always inspiring the young to dream.